Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. If you can hear me, please leave a reaction in the chat so I can make sure you all can hear me well. Thank you. I've gotten a thumbs up from someone. Thank you very much. We're going to wait for a few more minutes till everybody joins in and then we can start. Well, I would love to know more about you. If you could just put in the chat what industries you belong to. So accordingly, I can get those information and those examples in the case study. For I'm going to start by saying IT industry because that's where I belong. Feel free to just put more information about you and your industries. So accordingly, we can talk about that in the webinar. It's 3:01. We're going to wait for a few more minutes before we start. So if you have any friends who are supposed to join in, colleagues, business partners, call them and let them know we are waiting. And we'll start sharp at 3:05. So about 4 more minutes to get your coffee, tea, water, and be back. Meanwhile, there's a poll going on that says, do you currently use a CRM? Please respond with yes or no. So far, have you gotten all yeses only? That's great. That's fantastic. 7 on 7 yeses. That's amazing. I can see there are more than 7 people in the room. We have about 15 plus attendees. So requesting all of you to please vote so I get some sort of understanding as to how advanced you are in implementing IT and softwares in your businesses. I'm going to quickly scan through the list. Welcome, Anne. Thank you for logging in. Thank you, Dan and Hassan, for joining as well. Hi, Jan. Thank you so much for joining in. We have Ahmad and Nikita as well. Pramila, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you here. We have Rajiv as well on call. Thank you, Rajiv, for joining in. Ramesh, thank you so much for joining in. Remy is here as well. Thank you. Roni, welcome. Sajid, welcome. Sandra, Shalini, also welcome to the webinar. Thank you for taking out the time. Sijo, thank you for joining in. Sneh, thank you. And Sukada, welcome. Welcome to the webinar, guys. Appreciate you all taking out the time and being here. I think somebody else just joined again. Jyoti as well. Before I start in the next 2 minutes, I want to thank the marketing team. Thank you, girls. You guys have worked really hard. I appreciate all the efforts you put in to make us look good on the internet. It's 3:03, 2 more minutes to start, and it's going to be a fun 30 to 45 minutes where we'll talk about how you can use automation to increase your efficiency in your day-to-day processes and in your business. It's 3:04. As soon as the clock hits 3:05, we will start. So if you have anybody else who wants to join, do reach out to them, drop them a WhatsApp. Feel free to share the webinar link as well. Sujit is new on the call. Sujit, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you taking out the time. And yes. Awesome. A few more seconds to begin. I'm going to quickly jump to the results. All right, so two people, what 18% have said no, that they don't use the CRM currently, and 9 of them have said they do. That's fantastic. What 50% of you all have voted, so thank you once again for voting. It's good to know that most of you are using a system to track your customer base and to make sure that you are in touch with them. All right, it's 3:05. My name is Satyan Babla. I'm the CEO and founder of Zopreneurs. We are an authorized Zoho partner. I've been around for about 3 years and done some good work in it. I want to thank you all for logging into our webinar. We try and do these monthly to help our customers know what they can do with the power of Zoho. So thank you once again for being here. Today, we'll talk about a couple of things. Of course, I'll introduce myself and my company. I'll talk about what I mean by automation, because when you say automation, you probably are imagining robots in your head running around from right to left and carrying stuff, or you're expecting magic happening in your system, and all of that is a part of automation as well. So, we'll talk about what we mean by automation. We'll also talk about the benefits of automation. There are internal benefits, external benefits. When I say internal, it means benefits to your team, benefits to you to make your life easier, make your processes faster and quicker. And there are external benefits where your clients gets reminders, notifications, information, so on and so forth. Right. So we'll talk about the benefits of automation as well. We'll also identify the process for automation. So if you want to deploy automation, what do you do? Right, it's not as easy as I want to use automation and it's done. There's a whole process in terms of which you identify the benefits, you assess the ROI, you talk about the people, talk about the complexity. So we'll talk about all of that as well today. And we'll also talk about how Zoho can help with all these processes. Then we'll open the floor out to any questions. If anybody has, we'll answer them right then and there. And then we will move to the conclusion and closing. Before I go ahead, I want to request everyone once again to please just mention in the chat what industries you all belong to. I know we have people from the account space, we have people from the sales coaching space, and a few other people as well. We have people in the HR as well. So if you can just please in the chat mention the industries you all belong to, and I would love to know more and give you specific examples of how automation can be deployed in your industry. Fantastic. I'm going to go on to the next slide to tell you about Zopreneurs. So we are a company that is for Zoho users by Zoho users. When I say that, what I mean is that we run our businesses on Zoho. So when we tell someone you should consider Zoho for your business, it's not something that we are selling. We want to serve you, and we understand that by using Zoho, there is a great value opportunity that we are missing out on. Hence, when we run on Zoho ourselves and we share this knowledge with you all, there is some level of trust where you guys know that these guys are experienced as users as well. Also, we exclusively work with Zoho. I'm sure our name gives it out. We are Zopreneurs, entrepreneurs that work with Zoho. It's quite simple and straightforward. So we are dedicated and we only invest our time and efforts in growing Zoho. We don't work with any other software. So Zopreneurs for Zoho. And we've also gotten a couple of awards over the last few years. We started in 2021. We were the panelists at Zoholics. And then the next year, we got an award for Partner of the Year Zoho Enthusiast Award. And this year also, we got an award as a key business contributor given by Padma Shri Sridhar Vembu, who's the CEO of Zoho himself at Zoholics in Dubai. So we've had a great run, and I want to thank all our well-wishers for supporting us and promoting us and referring us to their family and friends. Wouldn't be possible without you guys. Let's jump straight into the topic and talk about automation, right? Like I said earlier, when you say automation, you think about robots and you think about these big graphs and dials and charts, which is all true, which is absolutely all true. But a lot of the automation happens at the back end, and you might not have a front face to it. So it's important to understand what it does, right? The first and the most important thing is just automation of tasks. As humans, we used to say knowledge is power. Now we say applied knowledge is power, which means action. Massive action is power. There needs to be some action for us to progress. And these actions can be qualified in terms of tasks or activities or calls or meetings, the actions you need to take in your business to grow, right? Automation can be used to put up a structure in place where a few tasks can automatically happen. So if I'm going to do a task of sending a welcome email to my customers once they confirm and send us the PO, that can be automated. So the minute I enter the PO number, that email can automatically go. If I have been blessed with a healthy pipeline and I have 75 inquiries in my pipeline, can I put in a process of automatically following up with them through an SMS, through a WhatsApp, through an email? So those are some examples of automating regular tasks that happen every day without any human intervention, right? We also want to talk about streamlining processes, right? When an organization grows, the processes also tend to vary between person to person. So I might be following up in a particular way, whereas my colleague follows up in a particular way. And the more we grow, the more the variation between the processes. how much ever we try and identify and create SOPs and structures, there is always some variation, right? If we use a system, all of this comes down to one straight line, to one SOP, to one process where you know that this can't be altered and this can't be changed, which means eventually my customer service gets better because all my customers get treated equally. That's about streamlining processes. Reduce errors. Now, errors can happen all across all processes, from spelling errors to wrong follow up of reminders of payments to inaccurate data given to wrong timelines. There's no end of how many errors can happen in a business, right? Through automation, we can reduce these errors, right? For example, if an email has to go out, it's predefined. It automatically goes out. Of course, there are some dynamic fields into it that talks about your company and your benefits and your details, so on and so forth. But at least there are no errors in terms of the data given, right? If I am a sales coach, and we have a sales coach, Ramesh, over here. If I am a sales coach and I have four different packages, the minute I say this package, it automatically goes out in the best format possible that we pre-designed and approved. There are no chances of errors happening over there, right? If we have a process set and we say 1, 2, 3, that's the set. When you're at one, you only have an option to click on two. You can't click on three, which reduces those errors as well. You don't skip processes, you don't skip steps, right? Human resource, we spend a lot of time and effort, especially if you're a service business, on training our team members. We also spend a lot of hard earned money on salaries. In fact, if you're a large service business, a big chunk of your revenue in your P&L will be allocated towards salaries and wages. How can we empower them? How can we liberate them from daily tasks that waste their time or from non revenue generating activities and use them for more strategic and creative work options? That's extremely important. Automation can do that. It can free people from repetitive tasks so they can spend more time strategizing, more time creating, and more time building relationships with your customers and the people that matter. Also, I believe automation is crucial for every business because it has something to add in all your processes, in terms of your HR, in terms of your marketing, in terms of your operations, in terms of your sales, in terms of your customer service. Whatever your structure is, there is always space for automation. And it's crucial because it can help you increase your revenue, it can help you cut your cost, and it can help you create a better customer experience, which can lead to a better brand image. And it could be that unfair advantage that you have in your business that others don't have in their business. So, if I'm an accounting firm, through automation, I can have automatic reminders go out to my customers 3 weeks before their VAT is due, every year in December for their audit reminders. Right? This can be something that only I have in the industry because I know for a fact that most finance professional companies are not doing automation. That's an example of how you could use automation in your industry, which could become your unfair advantage, where your customers know that even if I forget my date of VAT payment or I forget to submit my bookkeeping records, they will remind me, right? That's what automation can do in your business. I'm going to go on to the next section, which talks about the benefits of automation, right? But before I do that, once again, I want to request everyone to go in the chat and maybe put in your industry. I'm going to type something as well. Mentioned events in entertainment, IT. I know a few of you and I know what industries you all belong to. But if you could just type, that'll be great. I'd really, really appreciate that. So, going back to the benefits of automations and why we should consider automation. Number one is efficiency. Have you always wondered if X task has been done or not, right? Now, be it something that you've assigned to someone or a reminder that you put a couple of weeks ago, is always that question of, hey, has it been done? Has it not been done? Uh, there's no way to track efficiency unless and until you pick up the phone and call your colleague and ask them, right? What you can do is instead of setting up reminders and communicating to your colleagues to get this done, you can just automate the whole process, either entirely automated or a trigger based automation where you click a button and that work is done. Your efficiency absolutely increases. Imagine having an automated list of follow ups to do every day. You wake up in the morning, you log into your system, and your system shows you that, oh, great, I have these 17 tasks to do. And from 17, 12 are follow up, 2 are set up meetings, and 3 are reminders. Right? Can you imagine that? That makes it really, really, really easy and makes your job efficient if you use automation to create your future tasks. So it can predict what my future tasks are, and accordingly, those automations can happen in place. The other option also that you can do is you can use it for cost saving, right? You can use it for cost saving. So imagine if I run a large process based firm. For example, I'm a printing press and I have this whole process where my sales guys go out, they get the data, they put it in the system on terms of what they need. The accounting team checks, they verifies, yes, we can provide this. It goes to the estimation team. They check, they verify, yes, we have the material. This is going to be the cost. They give it back to the accounts team. And now your accounts team is creating manual quotations, X, Y, Z. And that whole process takes about 2 hours. We need to understand that there's people dedicatedly just sitting there and creating quotations 8 hours a day, which can happen with the click of a button automatically. There is a cost to that person, right? There's a cost to that person, which means that this person is only spending their time creating manual quotations. What if we automate that process? What if the sales guys are already putting in the requirement? The accounting guys verify there's no outstanding payment, and yes, we can do this. The estimation guy puts the price, you click a button, it automatically becomes a quotation. Somebody approves it and goes to your client. You save that one person, you save that resource, the salary that you're paying that guy for. Yeah, their salary, then their annual leave, paid leave, sick leave, then their flight tickets, their visa, their labor card, and more importantly, that's the actual cost. What about the opportunity cost? You can use that team member to do something else that's much, much, much more productive, right? So there is a huge scope for cost saving as well. Let's talk about improved accuracy. If you're a grammar Nazi, if you get annoyed with spelling mistakes or with wrong formats or with wrong colors, you have the chance to use automation to improve your accuracy. It makes a big, 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 big difference. So, for example, we have somebody in the IT industry, right, providing customers with domain name and hosting website design development, so on and so forth. So, thank you so much for responding. I really appreciate it. But imagine the accuracy this gentleman can get. Imagine what Harris can get, where he has preset structures ready. My customer wants website design and development. I click a button. There's a beautiful company profile that goes instantly with no errors, great accuracy, and also on time. Now imagine having the power of sitting across your customer, and your customer says, "Oh, great! I'm interested in website." You click a button on your mobile, you save it. He gets your company profile about all the websites you worked on. Now that has some great power, right? That makes them believe that the company I'm working with is professional. That talks about productivity. The normal protocol would be great. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to the studio and send you my profile, and then you probably go and jump off to another meeting, and then have lunch, and then have another meeting, and then get back to the studio, and probably 4 hours later send them your company profile if you remember and don't forget, or if you have no other meetings for that day. Now that's a hit on productivity when you're spending 2, 3, 4, 5 hours in the studio in the office sitting and typing emails and pushing it out. That's impacting your productivity because that's purely non-revenue generational activities or non-value add activities. You can enhance your productivity through automation with a click of a button where you can do whatever you want. You can send the communication, receive the communication, follow up, so on and so forth. And let's go to scalability. We have somebody who says animation, video production, that's Remy, book publishing, authoring, IT. Fantastic. Let's talk about Remy's animation audio production business. Now, imagine if Remy had a team of 12 people. These 12 people were individually talking to their customers and they had no system where all the data would come in. And they had no automation in terms of reminders and follow ups. Tomorrow, maybe Remy has the mind power to remember all these 12 people and who they they're talking to and what the next step is and how the follow up should be. But when they go to 20 and 30, it might be difficult for Remy to remember everything. Scalability becomes an issue when there's no automation. With your systems in place, you can go to 20, 30, 40, or 100. I mean, the largest Zoho customer has more than 25,000 users, right? You could scale to any level because everything is automated and the system is running by itself. There's no loopholes, there are no cracks. So there's massive advantage in doing that. Now we're going to do an activity, but I want you guys to think of something and then type in the chat and give me some answers in terms of what can you also do in your system, right? The first step that I want you guys to do is to analyze your workflows, right? Your workflows can be of different areas. What's the normal workflow when you add? What's the normal workflow when you add a new contact in your system? What's the process? What should happen, right? You've gone networking, you've met someone, then this person seems to be a potential customer of your business, right? Let's say we have perfumes and compounds, right? You've gone and met somebody. This person is the marketing head of Rack Bank, for example, and they're considering high-end gifts, and we can provide these amazing perfumes to them with regards to Promilla and what she does, right? What is your workflow? What needs to happen? I'm assuming you go back. Maybe the first step is you add them on LinkedIn. Your second step is you drop them your company profile. The third step is you drop them an email requesting to meet. The fourth step is you follow up in 5 days, X, Y, Z, right? Think of what is your workflow. Think of what is your workflow when you meet a potential client, right? Once you have that workflow, we'll figure out the next step. But I want people to chat and put over there what their workflow is. My workflow is, I'm going to say, uh, introduction where I meet them and then add to LinkedIn at, I'm going to say email, CP is company profile, and then I'm going to say follow up for a meeting, right? That's my steps. Those are my stages. People could have different structures. So, for example, for a company who's into brand development, they could look at doing a different structure altogether. So, I think Ronnie is on the call. Ronnie, thank you so much for mentioning what you do. Uh, Maybe his structure is when I meet someone, I go back and I assess their business card to see how great their branding or designing is. And then I go to their website and I understand how they design, how their brand pattern is, what their colors are. And then I give them a mini report talking about what's great with their brand and what could be better in their brand. That's an example, right? That's his or her process flow. Everybody can have a different process flow. So, what is your process flow? That is step number one. So, analyze your process flow. Now, this workflow can be for people you meet. It could be when an inquiry comes in. If you're an HR, it could be when you get a new requirement where a customer wants to hire somebody. It could be anything. If you're managing operations, it could be great. Now I've gotten this job, I have to execute this job, right? What's the workflow there? What's the process? So identify your process and put it down in as much detail as you can, and ideally do it in steps. So step one, step two, step three, step four. If I talk about sales, right? Step one is we get an inquiry. Step two is we do a discovery call where we collect all the information. Step three is we reach out to them and give them a rough estimate, a rough timeline, a rough benefits structure, and then say, are you interested in a demo? Step four is we conduct the demo. Step five is we give them the proposal. Step six is follow up, yes or no, right? This is my workflow. Analyze and identify your workflow in stages, in steps. That's point number one. Let's move to point number two. Point number two is identify the pain points here. Identify where do you have the cracks and where do people fall out, right? So like I said, my structure is for a contact, right? Meet, add to LinkedIn, send company profile, invite for a meeting, follow up for a meeting, and do the meeting. I've realized that in most cases, once I meet them, I do add them on LinkedIn. That's great. There's no major pain point over there. Then the next step is I do send them a company profile, but sometimes I forget, sometimes I remember that there is some element of crack over there. So yeah, there are some pain points over there. So maybe we could do something over there. We could think about automation over there. And then the next step is to follow up for a meeting. And maybe that's where I absolutely fall off the bandwagon. I might email them once for the meeting or maybe even twice, but then beyond that, I forget about it. So that's the pain point, right? I don't have time is a pain point, right? I don't have time. I'm busy doing other stuff. I'm busy networking and meeting new people, so I don't have time to follow up for a meeting. Or you could say, I followed up for a meeting, I got the meeting, I did the meeting, and now they've asked for a complicated proposal or a solution, and now I've forgotten about it, or it's taking too long, or I can't take out the time, or I can't find the solution, so on and so forth. So in your structure, please identify what your pain points are, right? Let's say Nawfal is a freelancer, and let's assume Nawfal is a freelancer in the IT space, right? In in the IT space, his structure is I meet someone, I understand their requirements, I give them a demo, I follow up with them, so on and so forth. What are his pain points, right? His pain points could be, oh, I'm great at giving them a demo and I'm great at sending a proposal, but I'm not very comfortable following up. I forget that and I get busy with other demos, and that's where people fall off the bandwagon. Great. Can we automate that step? Can you put a structure where the minute you send a quotation or a proposal out to someone, if they don't get back in 3 days, an automatic email can go saying, hey, so and so, hope you're doing well. It's been 3 days since we sent the proposal and we haven't heard back from you. Just wanted to make sure that this doesn't get buried under your inbox. So, flagging it once again. Do let me know if you have any questions. We'll wait for your response. I mean, it's that simple. It's automated. So even if you forget it, or even if you go for a vacation to Masai Mara, while you're enjoying over there, the system takes care of your pain points and automates that structure, right? Let's also go to the next one. Once you identify your pain point, you need to understand the complexity, right? Very important to understand how complex these structures are, right? For example, there's a workflow, marketing support, entrepreneurial idea, IT, network, existing client, animation, movie, niche research, book publishing. I think that's what Remy does, right? Some of these things will be easy to automate. Some will be complicated to automate, right? Some are easy, some are complicated. You need to understand what is important for you, what adds value. Many a times as entrepreneurs, we get wooed by the power of automation and we want to automate everything, even the simplest thing and even the most complex thing. It's important for us to ask ourselves is, okay, great, I want to automate this, but how complex is it? And how much value will it create, right? How much value will it create? Will my customer get impressed with this? Is it increasing my chance of conversion? Is it increasing my chance of getting a new inquiry? What is the structure, right? How complex is it? And really, does it add value anywhere or it does not, right? That's important. Now, if you have a simple follow up email, that's easy. But if you have a complex code structure calculation where I put XYZ amount, I have 17 variables and it calculates the amount, but then this amount has to also be discounted based on XYZ, that's complex. Still possible. Is it worth it? Very, very important. Consider the complexity. Also, what happens is perfection becomes the enemy of execution over here. Because the minute you come across something that's complicated, you'll feel like, oh my God, I'm going to spend so much time creating this structure and communicating with the team what this is. Forget it, let's just not do it. No, you need to do it. Just identify if it's value driven or not. And if it's not value driven, you can skip to the next one and do that automation later. Point number 4 is involve all your stakeholders in terms of people who will use the system. Most automations fail because the business leader, the decision maker, makes a decision without involving the stakeholders. The stakeholders are the actual users that will use the system, that are on ground, that are facing issues with the current system or with the lack of a system. And they're the right people to communicate to us and tell us that, okay, great, this is the issue, or I would like this to be there, or the lack of this is the problem, and hence because of this, we can't use the system. Or they might say, hey, thanks for automating this, but that really didn't wasn't a problem with us. We were very happy doing it. We would love to have this section automated. So imagine putting all that time, energy, cash, effort into automating something, and your team comes back and says, hey, thanks so much, but it was quite easy to do any which ways. This wasn't needed, or it's not saving much of our time, couple of few seconds here and there. and it's all that effort just gone down the drain. So very, very, very important is to always involve all your stakeholders. Who are your stakeholders? Your stakeholders are members who will be using the system. It could be using in terms of execution, could be using as an administrator, using as a manager who just sees the reports and dashboards, using as the business owner, anybody. All these are your stakeholders, and they need to know what they will get before they get what they get. A business owner might say, I want automation only in reporting. I'm okay with anything else. I really don't care about everything else. But at 7 p.m. every day, I want a report to be emailed to me automatically of how many meetings has my sales team done today. Oh, fantastic. Your customer service manager would say by 8 p.m. every Friday night, I want a report of how many complaints were raised this week and what is the action taken. How many are solved, how many are pending, right? Great. That is an automation only in the reporting element to it, not in the execution, not in the customer service, not in sales, not in the tasks. So automation can be deployed everywhere. Involve all your stakeholders to understand what they think is the right process for them and how it can add value to them. The most important point is the last point, which is the fifth point, which says evaluate your ROI. That's crucial. That's crucial, right? Uh, I'm going to ask a question, and in the chat, if you can respond back to this. This is a very vague question, so I don't know if you have an answer to this. So let's start with just a simple yes or no, right? Do you feel, do you feel like you can charge more for your services? Yes or no? Do you feel like you can charge more for your services? So please open up the Q&A tab and put it in. Do you feel you can charge more for your services? It's a simple yes or no question. We have a couple of people saying yes. So far, no one has said no. Oh, brilliant. I have a lot of yeses over here. Ramiz is the mastermind himself. He's also saying yes. Uh, so, if you can charge more for your services, why aren't you? That's the first question. If you can, why aren't you? Right? What is it that we are not doing that stops us from charging more? I can share a personal example with regards to what works with us. One basic benefit that our customers get when they work with us is the fact that we are Zoho by Zoho, which means I run my businesses on Zoho and we offer that. And that provides them great confidence in me. Massive confidence because if they've taken a demo from four people who are trying to sell Zoho to them, maybe the other three don't run their businesses on Zoho. We run our business on Zoho. Also, the other three might give a demo either in a PowerPoint format or in a video format or in a Word document or just snapshots, so on and so forth. Or they might even give a demo in a demo account. When we give a demo, we give a live demo in our live account. So I actually open my CRM and say, this is how we work every day. Pick any contact and you'll see how it works, right? That's the confidence we have. Now, in our system, we have a lot of automation, which again builds more confidence, right? So I'll say, great, you know what? Let's take your example. Let's say I'm giving a demo to Kayo. I'm giving a demo to Kayo. Kayo, hope you're doing well. I'm giving a demo to Kayo, and I say, great, Kayo, let's open your contact. Let's click this button. And Kayo is standing there and he gets an SMS on his phone instantly with that one button, right? That increases confidence. So I use automation to enhance my brand value so I can sell better, I can sell at a higher price, right? Imagine if Kayo is sitting against a client, and let's say the client is Dubai Economic Department, and he's talking about great, how can we add value to all your centers and make them more sensitive towards people from all cultures, right? Or he's saying, how can we make them more accessible, for example, right? And he's sitting there, and the guy on the opposite side says, can you show me some examples of some case studies that you guys have done? Yeah, absolutely. Option A is Kayo says, I'm going to go back and mail it to you. Or option B is, yep, absolutely. He opens his phone, opens the CRM, clicks the button, and says, good, you've gotten the email. Now that's powerful. That's powerful, right? The guy on the opposite chair now starts believing that, oh, this is amazing. These guys are really professional. And all it took was a couple of automations in their structure, which will now enable Kayo to charge more just because you have automation. I know it sounds really basic and really simple, but believe me, my personal experience says that if your customers see that your business is structured and automated, they're willing to pay a higher price to work with you than your competitors. So if anybody has experiences with these things, please do mention it in the chat. I know it works very, very well for us because we do charge a premium to all our customers, and thankfully, we've had a good flow of customers. I did some sales trainings with Ramesh as well, and he's been great in kind of guiding me in the right direction. So, a shout out to you. Thank you so much for attending, and I appreciate everything you've taught me. And I hope I'm making you proud. All right. So, going back to a couple of things, uh, identify your whole workflow, look at the pain points, understand the complexities, understand what your users want, your stakeholders, and then evaluate your ROI. Fantastic. I really hope you've gotten some ideas in your head. Something's been tickling your mind. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. I really hope you're working out with some ideas. All right, let's go to the next one. How can Zoho help with automation? So before I jump into Zoho, let me just identify the four kinds of automations. And let me take an example of someone that I haven't spoken about. Just quickly scrolling through the list. Okay. Attendees. I want to talk about Rajiv. And I know Rajiv is in the accounts space. He's in the finance space, a very, very senior gentleman who helps companies with outsourced bookkeeping services and with outsourced CFO services, right? Now, Rajiv has multiple options. In terms of automation, there are two broad categories, internal and external, to begin with in the upper layer. Internal is where Rajiv gets a reminder himself that, hey, Rajiv, it's been 4 days and this guy hasn't responded to your proposal, reach out to him. That's great value. That's powerful, right? That's an internal reminder. Or let's assume Rajiv closes a deal with someone and now he has to send them an invoice. An automatic internal trigger can go to their accountant saying, new deal closed, send the invoice. That's an internal reminder, an internal automation, right? Same time, his operations manager gets a notification. Again, it's internal because it's within the team. An operational manager gets a notification saying, hey, a new deal has been closed. So and so will send the invoice. Please create a new project in the system and a new WhatsApp group. All internal automations. At the same time, there could be external automations. The minute Rajiv says, deal closed, deal confirmed, the client can get an email saying, thank you very much for your confirmation. We're super excited to work with you. Here are the next few steps. Right? That's great, right? Because this can also happen when Rajiv is driving, by the way. Rajiv is driving at 5 p.m., going home. A client calls him, says confirmed. Oh, thank you so much. The minute Rajiv parks, opens the phone, click the client, click confirm. The client gets an automatic email saying, we're so excited to work with you. The project manager gets a notification, the accountant gets a notification, and that's all done with the click of a button, including internal and external automation. Not just that, let's make it more interesting. Now, maybe this customer wants to register for VAT. Great. Imagine when Rajiv clicks a button along with the thank you email that goes out to this client, a form goes out, like a Zoho Forms link goes out to this guy saying, please fill the form, and the form has your company name, your XYZ bank accounts, your partner's name, upload your trade license, upload this, upload that, and all that happens automatically with a click of a button. They just get that form and now they fill it in, as opposed to somebody emailing them and saying, "Hey, thank you for your confirmation. We need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7," so on and so forth. And then they email, and then you copy paste, you put it in the right folders, right structures. Here, all you do is you click a button, and an email goes out, and they get the form and they fill the form. And if they don't fill the form, they get a reminder. That's another example of an external automation. Hey, it's been 2 days. We'd love to get your work salad. We haven't received this form yet. Please, can you update the form? And the minute they fill the form and they upload their trade license, all of that gets synced automatically to the CRM, and it comes into your CRM system where you don't have to ever go to your mail, look for that person, download the trade license, create a new folder in your Explorer, and then save it over there, and then keep sharing it to everybody who wants it. So that's an example of internal and external automation. Let's move down in terms of trigger based and marketing. Trigger based and marketing, right? Trigger based is more operational, whereas marketing is more revenue generational. I'm going to talk about marketing again. I'm going to continue with Rajiv. Rajiv knows that this gentleman is using our VAT services, and this gentleman, I know, for example, has a revenue of X amount. which qualifies them to be a good client for auditing. An automatic code can be written that says, okay, if the customer is not using our audit services and is of this much value, automatically send an email in the month of September talking about the benefits of getting an audit done. Now, if Rajiv has 1,000 customers that don't do this in a system, these 1,000 customers automatically get an email, and we're hoping at least one person would reply, 10 people reply, and then conversations go on from there. And there are possibilities of sales, right? So that's marketing possibilities. And trigger based is exactly what I mentioned earlier, where the minute I click a button that says closed one, an internal external reminder email goes to everybody. So Zoho has some great automations that can really make your life easier once you've analyzed the workflow, you've analyzed the pain points, you've analyzed the complexity, you've analyzed and spoken with the stakeholders' requirements, and you've implemented after your ROI evaluation. It has some great features. Thank you guys for listening. It's 3:41. I'm going to go to the next slide, which is pretty much the last slide. We're going to answer any questions over here. So if you have any questions, please put it in the Q&A, and hopefully in the next few minutes we'll wrap up. You guys have been amazing. I'm just going to quickly scroll through all the attendees and wait for any questions to come in. Just want to make sure I've acknowledged everybody over here. Yep. Seems like I have spoken about everyone. Sajid, I'm not sure I spoke about Sajid, but thank you. If you can mention Sajid and Vivek as well, just give me your industries and I'm happy to share a few examples in the chat. I know a couple of Vivek Kumars. I just want to make sure that I got the right one over there. Sukhada, thank you so much for joining in. If you have any questions, now is the right time to put in these questions. Also, just want to clarify that automation can happen across any industry, be it the most creative industry or the most straightforward and simple industry. I was going to say boring, but I've changed my words. So, whatever your industry is, there is always potential for automation. One thing that you can do is think of one task, just one task that you pretty much do every day and takes a good amount of your time. That could just be follow ups for proposals, or it could just be sending my company profile. What is that one task that if we automate will save you at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day? And when you compound that, there's massive opportunity. Fantastic. Sajid has said freight forwarding and logistics. There's so much potential over there in freight forwarding and logistics. Imagine this, imagine a marketing based automation where somebody has sent freight from XYZ to Dubai, right? And they're regular customers. And you know what happens on a monthly basis every 30 days. We put in an automation code saying that in the next 30 days, if I don't get an inquiry from this customer, instantly notify me. And that's again powerful. So it's been 10 days, 20 days, 50 days, 70 days. The minute it crosses 30 days, you get that notification and you call and say, hey, hope you're doing well. It's been a month since you haven't spoken. Just wanted to check everything is okay. Now, that's a powerful automation. That means your customer will at least get one call a month minimum. At least. That's really powerful, right? That's an example of internal automation. If you want to transform this to external, the customer can automatically get a WhatsApp or an SMS saying, hey, we miss you. It's been a while since we moved stuff for you. Let us know if we can have a conversation. Now, that's jumping from internal to external. We have ERP, low code development, Vivek. Again, great possibilities. You've developed a low code solution for one of your customers. And based on that, you can say that, okay, you know what, they're going to use this and hopefully they'll be happy. And in 3 months, I can sell them this. You put in those 3 months automated triggers where 3 months later, an automatic email goes to them. And you can also put in the structures in between. The minute you say, great, delivered and UAT done and project handover done, acceptance done. Tick. In 1 week, an automatic email can go saying, hey, we would love to understand your your feedback on us. Here is a small little form. Please leave us a review. Right? So that's possible. Then you'd say a month later saying, hey, an email goes out, hey, hope you're doing well. Here are 5 tips on how you can use your system more effectively. And that goes out. You're still in touch with them. And then an email goes out 2 months later from that saying, hey, we'd love to offer this software also for you, which is extremely compatible. Are you interested? So I hope I've given you some good examples. Ramesh says, do you have functionalities like expandy.io? Ramesh, I'll have to check and get back to you. I'm going to make a note of that and I will make sure somebody gets back to you today from my team. So thank you so much for asking that. Could you let us know more about internal automations as well? Yes. Now, for anything that does not touch your customers in internal automation. So anything that says uh, is a reminder to you, is an auto task created for you, is an email internally to you or to your team members, is an internal automation. And ideally, you would use this for communication of activities. So now, let's say somebody has said, "Can you get back to me on this?" Right? Instead of me messaging someone and saying, "Hey, Jyoti, who manages our marketing, can you check this and get back to me and make sure the customer knows?" I've sent a WhatsApp, and then it's gone. Right? There's no follow up. There's no nothing. I put a task to Jyoti, due date tomorrow. If it doesn't happen tomorrow through an automation, I get a trigger saying, "Hey, this has not been done." It gets escalated to an automation, which means that task will never be missed ever, which is phenomenal, right? Yes, okay, Jyoti has a legit reason, or she's already responded to that guy XYZ, but at least you know you will never miss that out. That's an example of an internal automation, checking emails, time stealers, fantastic. So some people have mentioned that what takes up most of their time is follow-ups, research, checking emails. Zoho has a brilliant feature called Sales Inbox, which divides your inbox. We're used to seeing all our emails one below the other. What Zoho does is gives it to you in four vertical sections. All your emails coming from actual inquiries right now, all your emails coming from actual contacts in your system, emails from people who are not saved as contacts in your system, and emails from people who are your colleagues. It makes it so easy because you don't have to first respond to all these guys. They have an active inquiry ongoing, and then reply to these guys who are contacts, and then this, and then this. Guys, once again, thank you so much for reaching out. It's 3:47. Really appreciate you taking out the time to hear me out. If you have any questions, do let me know. Ramesh, my team will get back to you. So thank you once again. And if you have any questions, I am right here for you guys. If not, thank you once again. We will be reaching out to you and we will stay in touch. Once again, guys, thank you for your time and I appreciate it. Do reach out to us. That's a QR code. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. And thank you once again. I'm going to stay on the call in case if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap up in the next few minutes. Thank you and have a lovely day, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Once again, I want to thank my entire team for logging in and listening to me for the 10th time. And thank you all who attended. Really appreciate your time. I will be disconnecting now and we shall stay in touch. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you.